Hello everybody and welcome back to Rebellious Menstruation. This is going to be a cloth pad tag. I'm thinking we're up to number 11 now. Please, if you are watching this, grab yourself a camera, do these questions. As I've just said, I've got, I think this is number 11. So all the questions will be in the description box below. So get the questions, get a camera and film them for yourselves and upload them. I tag all of you, basically, is what I'm saying. Outside of that, there are only 5 questions today. So question number 1 is, what do I like about printed pads over plain ones? There is basically nothing great about false advertising, and that is the kind of type of plain pads are trying to sell. Simple packaging and more of a traditional looking pad are kind of boring. I want nothing really to do with the disaster that are single-use disposables. I like having my pads match things that I'm interested in or things that have interested me before, like the Evil Queen, and this one's a cute little tea party. This is a galaxy, obviously, and a bunny. So these are all, this is cotton lycra, this is cotton, this is quilter's cotton, this is flannel. So there's a wide variety of things to choose from, a wide variety of prints to pick up, and a wide variety of things that you can actually get. I understand that there may be some contention between copyright of fabric and fair use. However, I can use whichever pad existing pad that I have that suits my mood, whether I am doing whatever I'm doing. Sorry, my
here's what I found online.
Look, my Samsung is going weird and it's talking about postpartum can be boundless love. I don't know what Bixby's doing. Anyway, look, I've just got a new phone like yesterday. So it's been fun. Okay, we're going to continue to go wherever I was. However, I can use, so basically I can tailor make and customize my pads to what I want, where I'm going, what I'm doing. I have pretty period things and I enjoy them, and they make what is a biological function a lot more interesting, a lot more fun, and a lot more just useful to be able to manage. The plain kind of Chinese cheapy ones, I guess, with the ones with just the bamboo cores. I know some people prefer them because they don't have, they don't really see the blood on them, or they don't really see anything like, they absorb or wick pretty quickly apparently. So kind of as a consequence, I think a lot of people like them or prefer them because they don't show stains or don't have stains on them. But as you can tell, none of my pads have stains on them either, and I get all the stains out. Okay, so that's why I prefer pads with pictures on them over pads with that are either cotton or plain cotton or have the picture on the back. There have been a couple of pads that have pictures on the back. I think I had one from Environmental a while ago that went straight to my sister because the picture was on the back. And other companies that do the pattern on the back are places like Hannah Pad and Juju Pads. So while there's nothing wrong with that and they do use cotton on top, I just prefer having pictures. Question number 2, am I afraid of bacteria and or health risks with reusables? Absolutely not. I'm able to be hygienic as I do have the privilege of living in a house with access to water and laundry facilities. And living in a first world country, essentially, where we generally have a higher standard of hygiene and living than some other countries have. I have the ability to change my pads when I am able to and when I want to. I don't have to limit my changes or hold on a bit longer because I don't have anything to replace it with or any money to purchase more. Not that I need to with just reusables, but I've pointed out in other videos, but it bears repeating here until people understand that single-use disposables are not sterile and they are barely sanitary. They contain manufacturing debris, dust, and are only white because of bleach. I can wash my cloth pads and I know where they've been, how they've been treated, handled, what they're made from, and where they have come from. I can control what they're washed and treated with and in, and as far as I'm concerned, with the bacteria and hygiene risks of single-use disposables are even greater, even with the organic ones. And the elevated environmental risks associated with disposables are relevant of this is into landfills or flushed into the sewage system, which can cause severe damage. So all in all, I find cloth pads to be, and menstrual cups to be, far more hygienic than single-use disposables. Question number 3, how can I carry around soil pads and not be grossed out by this? This is an absolute concern, and before you make the switch, so I do understand that this is probably the thing that prevents a lot of people, or at least makes a lot of people hesitate before switching. The concern is usually in conjunction with the alleged smell issue. When you have never used cloth pads before and have only ever experienced single-use disposables, there is definitely an association between that smell and your period, like associating that real, strong smell and the blood and your period. However, this experience is only accurate for single-use disposables. The blood actually is interacting with the chemicals in the plastic disposables or rayon tampons. This smell does not actually happen with cloth, as there are no chemicals to react to the liquid, and certainly doesn't happen with internal protection like menstrual cups. Once I did the switch over, I realised that there was no smell. Even when I dry, I dry store my soil pads in a bucket, waiting for cleaning. There is no smell. So this really was a great indicator and gave me the confidence to go out and be more mobile with my cloth pads. If you have seen my prep packs, you'll see that I carry pad wrappers for ease of changing in public bathroom stalls and a wet bag to store soiled pads. As with other storage at home, there is literally no smell at all. It was really a phenomena and really indicated to me just how bad disposable single-use products are. I usually take 5 pads for about an 8-hour workday plus 3 hours of travel time. And generally at work I'm wearing a cup. Soil pads are efficiently and effectively contained within the wet bag. While I understand the initial ooh response, it is actually in practice and in my life a nil issue, and is just as easy and in fact easier than disposables, and you don't get any of the smell at all this way. Question number 4 is, how do I know how many I need to take with me when I go out? So I usually take 5 with me for a work day. I like to change every 2 to 3 hours or so, depending on my flow. However, keep in mind that I usually wear a cup on my heavier days at work and will use a 9-inch cloth pad as a backup. It is generally only my first or last day that I'll use cloth if I'm at work, as I am not heavy. If I am going to stay at a friend's house overnight, generally I'll apply the same logic, change every 2 hours. I don't subscribe to this 6 or 8 hours bullshit, and I also change generally whenever I go to the bathroom. And I maintain that even when I use single-use disposables, because while urine is sterile when it exits the body, it certainly isn't sterile in an oxygenated environment and can actually cause issues on your tampon string. Hello everybody, and welcome back to Rebellious Menstruation. This is a cloth pad tag, and I believe we're up to number 11. Question number 1 is, why did I choose cloth pads? Because I dislike tampons and single-use pads. They were plastically, uncomfortable, sweaty, gross and wasteful. I knew about menstrual cups, like this ruby cup, for about 7 years before I tried them. Cloth pads came later. However, I'm not necessarily a big fan of internal protection, so this probably had a influence on my decision. So I have a significant amount of cloth pads and have tested out quite a few cups, and which essentially use cups out of the house and at work. Cloth pads are convenient, comfortable, customizable to my likes, bleed pattern, and they're easy to clean. Question number 2 is, what health benefits have I found? And this is, of course, anecdotal evidence, but to give you my completely unscientific anecdotal evidence, I no longer have the contact dermatitis I did from single-use plastic pads. I also don't have the reaction to tampons, which was severe irritability around the vaginal canal opening and severe dryness. I never use scented products or perfumed douches, and if you've watched my video on these, you know I hate them, but the plastics and hybrid rayon, cotton and polyester mix of the pads were itchy and irritable enough. I am far more comfortable with cloth pad and cups. Question number 3 is, what difference has the Hello and welcome back to Rebellious Menstruation. This is another cloth pad tag. I believe this is number 12. We haven't done one in a while, so I thought it was about time. Question number 1 is, why did I choose cloth pads? Because I disliked tampons and single-use pads. They were plasticky, as you can tell, and uncomfortable, sweaty, gross and wasteful. I knew about menstrual cups. This is the red ruby cup. For about 7 years before I tried them. Cloth pads did come later. However, I'm not necessarily a big fan of internal protection, so I have a significant amount more cloth pads than I have menstrual cups. And I have tested out quite a few cups though, which I do use when I'm out of the house and at work. Cloth pads are convenient, comfortable, customizable to my own likes, bleed pattern, and they are easy to clean. Question number 2 is, what health benefits have I found? This is anecdotal evidence. But to give you my completely unscientific anecdotal evidence, I no longer get the contact dermatitis I did from single-use plastic pads. I also don't have the reaction to tampons like these ones that I did beforehand, which was severe irritability around the vaginal canal opening. Oops, let me drop the camera. Dryness, and I never used scented products or perfumed douches, but if you've watched my video on these, you know I hate them. But the plastics and hybrid rayon, cotton and polyester mix of the pads were itchy, irritable enough. I am way more comfortable with cloth pads and cups.